Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of TCG Talk, back today with another video. And in today's video we're going to be talking a little bit about one of my favorite card games, Sorcery, the Contested Realm. We're going to give a little bit of background on some of the recent events, some of the player counts that they've been having, as well as some big news for the game, to include if you're a newer player, maybe someone who's a little bit interested in the game and you're wanting to get your store into it or your local community into it. They have implemented an amazing way through Team Covenant to do that. We're going to talk more about that here in just a second. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hopefully enjoy your stay. If you're a long-standing supporter, thank you so much as always. If you are new to the channel through Sorcery or Flesh and Blood, or you maybe came to my channel a couple times and you haven't hit that sub button, feel free to, but no pressure at all. If you have watched a couple of my videos and you're like, not quite for me, there is a creator worksheet down below. It has a Sorcery tab, it has a Flesh and Blood tab, it has all the games I've covered with a bunch of content creators. Go find someone you do like. Let's get more people seeing these games. So really quick, a little bit on Sorcery when it comes to my channel. The bottom line, the key takeaway is I want to try to do at least one Sorcery video a week. One of my favorite things about Sorcery is it appeals to like a bunch of different types of players. If you're highly competitive, there's a huge depth of play with the game, with like, card game and pseudo board state game, right? Or board game, like chess like game, right? There's good stuff for casual players where you can play a lot of different like thematics and archetypes. If you're like an old school Magic player, it has hand painted art, as you can see, or I'll pull it up here and you can see in a second. You can see on the screen, and it appeals to a wide variety of players. And I think that, because of that, it's a game that I really enjoy. It has kind of like embodies the soul of a trading card game. And I want to keep, promoting the game as much as I can. It only comes out with one set a year and one subsidiary product, which is amazing to keep up with the game, right? But also from a content perspective, there's like spurts of content that I'll do when they open a lot of stuff. But overall, it's something that because I don't want to like overload it and like just post to post, I'm gonna try to post one really good video a week of like updates on the game, updates on some events, some cool stuff, maybe give some updates to like my locals decks that I'm running, like Persecutor and Savior, and just try to give you a little bit, continue to grow the game as much as we can. So hopefully that works out for you. But the first thing I wanted to cover here is kind of showing you again the soul of the game, is how much they cover their artist. Sorcery is very big on hand-painted art. They use acrylics. They commission artists to draw it from scratch, hand-painted, not draw, but paint from scratch, and then they make those into the cards. They also have a really good way of highlighting their artists, and this is one of their newest artists, and this is just an example of how much they value their artists. One of their newest artists, Paul Carrick, is going to be doing some art for the newest upcoming, like, kind of, I guess, dual deck, like, starter kit, Frost Mage versus Lavamancer. He ended up doing a card, I'm assuming it's called the White Death, and this is the card here, at least the art of it. We don't know what the ability is yet. But they go through, like, his background, what got him into his career as an artist. He started in Call of Cthulhu, right, the board game, not the board game, the kind of like role-playing game, and kind of how that, it evolved into card art, and then talking about the White Death and what the concept behind that was. And then it also shows like the progression. I wanted to show you this just to show you that there is like a big point for them to highlight these artists, and it kind of creates this amazing community feel and this old school kind of, TCG aspect of it. So just to kind of highlight, drive that home on how much they care about certain things. Just really quick, the Frost Mage and Lavamancer is coming out this November. It is basically a 2-player deck ready to play. It's going to come with a 60-card spellbook, which is like standard for competitive play, a 30-card atlas, which is like your lands deck for anybody that's not familiar with the game, and a 10-card collection, which is like your sideboard that you can bring in during the game. They kind of go over how it was made, again, with the artistry kind of stuff. Really, really cool. Just wanted to show this off as well. All this will be down in the description below. And then we get into the recent events. Now, there's been a lot of what are called Cornerstone Championships around the world. Now, Cornerstones, for anyone who's not aware, are kind of like your store championships in a way. or like Store Championship Plus, I would say. Like people will travel a little bit for these, like in your local area, maybe by state or by region. And when I say region, I mean like 1 or 2 states or something, maybe. But mostly it's a Store Championship. Grand contests are like those big kind of regional level events that people will travel a little ways for. But Cornerstones are awesome. They have these store kits that people can use with the stores can use with for this season, the Den of Evil alt art participation. The winner gets an alt art foil. You also get the judge promos and stuff like that. So that's what these Cornerstones are. And I wanted to bring this up and just kind of show you kind of like what they are before we go into like some of the things. Some of the cool decks I want to show off. The Common Sense Sorcery podcast, really cool. Really great resource of content creators in the game. Also, one of the individuals on there ended up winning his second Cornerstone with Enchantress, ended up going undefeated on what is mostly a water fire, or not water fire, water air list with some fire sprinkled in there. His thought process was, I believe he said at the beginning of their podcast that he wanted to lower the ceiling of the deck a little bit. I'm assuming with some of the auras that he chose, but raised the floor and raised the consistency. Seemed to do really well, which is really awesome. So definitely go check this list out. I also found another list, I guess. There was a first place Cornerstone in Arizona for Spellslinger, which I thought was awesome. A water earth variant. Really, really cool. Spellslinger, you don't really see a lot. So for Spellslinger to kind of be in there, at least I haven't seen it lately, be in there is really, really cool. They've been updating this. I guess this was like a recent one that they had. And then we get into the grand contest that was at the Auckland Card Show, which was they said was one of their biggest events in New Zealand itself. They had over 40 players, I believe, which is really, really awesome. This is their kind of like what to know that they put out before. They're going to have local or artists locally there to be able to sign, proofs and stuff like that. They had a grand contest constructed on Saturday. They had a draft as well, and then a team sealed on Sunday, which is really cool. You could sign up for it. They also had convention promos and all that good stuff. And oops, I skipped one. Let me go back here. This was the top 8 at the event. I don't have like all their deck lists and stuff, but it looks like a pretty good spread here, right? We have a Death Speaker, Avatar of Air, it looks like. We have a Savior deck, which is really sick. Geomancer, Blade Dancer, Persecutor, another Geomancer, and I believe off the top of my head, oh my goodness, I can't quite tell what that is. Someone let me know. I don't know why it's so hard for me to tell that. Maybe it's like alt art proof, or maybe no, it looks like Imposter. Yeah, it's Imposter. My eyes suck. So 7 different avatars in the top 8, which is really cool, and that's something that I want to kind of drive home for any of my Flesh and Blood peeps or anybody who's coming from a different card game. There is a competitive side to this game, and there are definitely like better decks that you can play. Archimago is really good. Imposter is really good if you have a very good deck builder. Geomancer also does pretty well as well. You have Pathfinder is always a really strong deck. Avatar of Air is a really strong deck, right? But you can kind of play what you want. Like in this game, if you have a really synergistic deck and you want to like hate on some stuff, it's very easy to build 1, a counter deck in this game, and 2, a deck that you just enjoy and still do well at like even like a grand contest level, right? And grand contest for my Flesh and Blood peeps is like equivalent to their calling. So really, really cool to see this kind of spread in the top 8. And then we also had the Gen Con top 8 back on August 2nd. And then we had, again, Avatar of Air, Imposter, Druid, Death Speaker, Sorcerer, Necromancer, another Imposter, and another Druid. So 6 different avatars in this top 8. Really, really cool to see. So I'll definitely try to link this down below as well. So just want to give you an idea of like some of the events that are going on and some of the recent placements, because there are a wide distribution of top 8. Now getting into the most recent announcement this morning, as I was about to hit this video, Eric Curiosa announced that they're going to be doing a partnership through Team Covenant to fulfill for local game stores. Now, there's been a version of this, I believe, already, but I haven't read this, so we're going to have kind of a live reaction to this. But I know the TLDR of this is if you want your store to get started in Sorcery, and it's hard to get it through distribution, there's a way to do it through Team Covenant. So Eric Curios says, please announce that Sorcery is now available to approved retailers through Covenants Fulfilled, providing local game stores with another way to access Sorcery products and OP support. Operated by Team Covenant, Fulfilled is a wholesale platform that connects independent publishers directly with retailers, allowing Eric Curiosa to maintain its relationship with stores supporting the game. Retail approvers are managed by Eric Curiosa, in which stores can order available Sorcery products through Fulfilled according to the needs of their communities. Monthly limits will help to ensure products continue to reach stores supporting the game. How retailers can apply. You apply through Team Covenant, select Sorcery Contested Realm, create an account, create an application with all your business information, and then once approved, Eric Curiosa Sorcery products and OP materials will be available through the platform. Fulfilled is intended primarily for local game stores and retailers. Other applicants may apply when expressly invited by Eric Curiosa. So the key to this is, and you're seeing other games do this, Alpha Clash actually has done something similar to this as well, where some of these more indie TCGs, or I would say like non-IP based TCGs, are basically bypassing the distributor in a way. They are trying to be more intimate with their game stores, be able to speak with them directly, be able to have an understanding of who needs what, and get product in the hands of players. Because sometimes with distributors, you have to order a certain amount of product of something else in order to qualify for a product for the game you want. Or if you don't order something for a set or two, right? If you're not consistently having player base or selling, distributors can sometimes be a really big wall for some of these stores just to get product in the hands of players who need it. So this Covenant program is a way for stores to apply, and the application process is pretty, from what I've seen, because I know a local game store of ours who did it, isn't too bad. Like, obviously there's a couple, like, are you holding weekly events? Do you have a player base who's interested? There's some definite requirements. Maybe they have it here. I'm not. Let's see. Let's click on Team Covenant Fulfillment. So wholesale pricing, end allocation, retail partnerships, goodbye quotas, all that good stuff. As you can see, here's all the games that Team Covenant does Fulfilled with. If we click on Sorcery, let's see if it makes us do an account. I was hoping it would show some of the requirements, but I know they're not too bad. It's definitely better than going through a distributor. So if you've been interested in the game, maybe you've watched a couple of my videos or somebody else's. Maybe you bought the Star Decks for yourself, but you want to get your store into it. Sometimes getting a store to go through a distributor is almost impossible. Well, this is a good example of a way to do it, to get your store, get into play events, get product in the hands of players, maybe do some drafts, right? Get players some product and some cards to be able to use, especially as we get close to the Frost Mage versus Lavamancer. If you can get in by then and potentially get some of that in the future, I think that would be really, really cool. So this is a little bit of a wrap-up of Sorcery, kind of thing on how things have been going. Again, I'm gonna keep trying to beat the Sorcery drum and at least do one video a week on Sorcery. I know Flesh and Blood is my main game for the channel, at least what people care about, but I have had a lot of feedback from the Sorcery community. One of my best videos so far this year has been like how to get into Sorcery, or what avatars should you play. And I've got a lot of positive feedback from that, so I'm glad the game's growing. I want it to keep growing. And I'll do all I can to get there. So thank you for watching this so much. If you're from the Sorcery community, hello. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Please give me feedback below. I'd love to hear it. I'm always trying to grow the game as best as I can. But yeah, I appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for watching this, and I'll see y'all next time on TCG Talk.